I don't know if this is working here.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to Happy Hour with Ruth.
And Roxy. Yeah.
Yep, we're here.
We're here.
It wouldn't be Happy Hour if we didn't flub the intro.
No.
What are we drinking, Rox?
Well, I am right now, because you got me onto it, drinking, I have a little glass of red wine, and it is a malbec from Deep Roots Winery, which is a Naramata Bench, British Columbia, Okanagan winery. It's quite good. I think it needs a little more air time, but that's a good one. Yeah, I like it. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking red. I'm actually drinking the same red that I was drinking last week because it takes me that long to drink a bottle of wine, not because we taped back to back.
That's the problem.
But
Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but that's okay because they know we're just trying to make it happen every week, right? So there's compromises.
I was drinking beer an hour ago, and now I'm drinking wine, and that wine probably will stay open until next week.
Yeah, and then she's going to go to tequila shots after the
tequila shots. Sounds great. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. That's
a fair point.
Yeah.
So we're moving on.
Last week was Don't Be Shithead, and this week is
Care is Contagious.
Ooh, care is contagious.
And how community can change everything. So we're on a positive thing, and I think I can, given that this is being taped almost a couple of weeks out now, but I can say right now we're seeing lots of community activity in the US, and I think that's really important. But it really is, if care is a choice, it's also contagious because community doesn't just support people, it reshapes behavior. It encourages courage and it creates hope. And I think this whole episode is probably the foundation is the momentum that happens when we care about each other, right? When we take action to take care of each other.
Yeah. And it only takes one person to get it started, right? One person because care is contagious. It's also like joy is contagious. A mood is contagious, right? Like depression is considered a contagious illness because it bleeds into the people around you. The same thing with joy, right? If you're happy and you're, bouncy and you're more likely to see, this time I think my husband just got home. My husband, Ray.
Yes, her husband, Ray.
The things that you do bring that out in other people, right? So if you're upset, they can catch that. But if you're happy and joyful, or if you're extending care, it makes you feel, I don't know if you know that. I think you know what I'm talking about. Some people have more visceral feelings than others, but there is a warmth or an expansion.
The warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, the warm. Right? You've talked about Buddha Ruth. I talk about grape Roxy, or it's not so much grape Roxy as raisin Roxy. Like when I am feeling depleted and I've got nothing to give, and I've been around too many negative people, or I haven't had support or encouragement. It's like my heart shrivels up and pulls inside just to preserve everything that's there, just to keep me going, right? But then I get a little bit of support or a little bit of joy, or we get together and my heart expands and I'm grape Roxy again, and you're Buddha Ruth.
Yeah.
Or,
well, I can also be bitchy Ruth,
for a while.
But that's, but bitchy Ruth only comes out mostly when I'm being protective. There are days when I just wake up with cranky pants and I'm like, but then all it takes is to be around somebody who is feeling good about something, right? Like the flip side to that, I have to say is, and we've all seen it, everybody's got that, negative human in their life. They just can't, they're Eeyore, they can't help themselves, right? But the thing is, I've started to watch my behavior and I pull away from, I don't want to be around them because it sucks the life out of me, right? So if I catch myself being in that state, somebody else is joyous and I'm not, it's like, so if it was me being joyous and somebody else was being cranky pants, would I want to be around them? No, right? And so sometimes by peer pressure, sometimes by just catching it, and other times by conscious freaking decision, you look and you go, oh, maybe life's not that bad. Right? Like you pull yourself out of it.
Like every good psychopath out there, you say, I don't feel it, but I'm going to pretend to feel it. you know?
Fake it till you make it, baby.
Fake it till you make it, right? Because sometimes you just need to, I've talked about this before when our kids were small. Oh, let's take them to the pool. Oh man, 3 kids in the rain and the cold and bathing suits and mommy, I know all that stuff. Such a
Yep.
pain to do it. But every single time we go to the pool, we'd have a great time. We come home afterwards. Everyone's tired and happy. We've had fun. We've smiled together, laughed
Yeah.
together, thrown each other in the water, had the waves, all the things. It's worth it, right?
Yeah.
Even though if you were to look at it ahead of time and say, no, too much effort, it's worth it in the end. So even
That's just it.
you
It's
go
a bit
to
like
a thing-
exercise.
It's like exercise. It's like, for me, and I think for you too sometimes, socialization, right? Like going out to a social event. I have to be with people. I have to dress up. I have to look nice. I have to sound like I know
I
something.
have to engage
Or at
in
least
small
I have
talk.
to engage. Yeah, yeah. And we've talked about small talk. I think there is a reason for that. There is a benefit to it. There is a purpose for it, but it can be exhausting for those of us who prefer just to have a relationship that matters or don't bother. Have it be the checkout person at Save On Foods that you're friendly to, or have it be a good friendship. But
Yep.
the in-between stuff, what does that do? You know what? Sometimes it just lifts your mood.
No, and I guess you are much better at it, but I also think in limited doses it is good. It's just for me, if it always stays here,
Yeah. Yeah.
nah. Also, I just want to go back and I will look at the tape again. I think you just called me a sociopath. Just saying.
No, I didn't. I called you a psychopath.
So
That's much better.
there you go. See, there you go. But I think it's part of that thing, right? Is it's really nice to be around somebody who's looking for joy and happiness and joy and positivity is not my natural baseline. I have had to work myself into this, right? Because I come from a family of British-ish people, Scottish, Irish, although, Irish people can certainly tell you what they think. But like everything was like, oh, don't be too happy. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't. And so I had a baseline, not unsimilar, different than yours, but not unsimilar. That was always like,
Waiting for the other shoe to drop.
yeah, right. Like, and it was never like I deserve happiness, right?
No.
And so I've had to retrain my brain, and that it was a concerted effort, honestly, over decades to do it, because you can I am proof you can, because I will walk in and Paul's always like, oh God, happy Ruth is here, but I can walk in and it's like somebody just broke a treasured item of something, and I can be like, for 10 seconds disappointed, and then go, you know what? Maybe I had too much of an attachment. Maybe it's time for a new piece of art, right? Because it's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
Right? If it was truly an accident, I'm certainly not making that person feel bad. And also, the next hour and a half are going to go by anyway. I can sit there and be pissy, or I can figure out a way to make it something, right?
That's extremely mature, Ruth. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, now I've said it. The universe is coming for me, man.
I'm very, very glad that you generally put your nice glasses away when I'm coming over. Like, we don't drink out of your the glasses from your mom. I'm like, no, I will break them. If I know they're precious, I will break them.
I don't let myself drink out of most of those, so just for the record.
That's good.
So,
okay, I have a question for you on the note of moods and all that, because your background is journalism. I came across a term recently in a book that I'm reading that I hadn't heard before. And the book is called Cold Fire by Dean Koontz.
oh yeah,
And I love Dean Koontz because he also has this underlying theme of good conquers evil.
yep,
Like, he writes horror. He writes some pretty dark, super dark, the world is ending kind of stuff. And Cold Fire is a book that is absolutely following true to that. And I haven't finished yet, so I'm getting there. But the one character is a man who has been pulled in by some paranormal force to intervene in lethal accidents or events that are going to happen to save someone's life. He doesn't know how it happens. He just knows he gets a message somehow that he's supposed to go somewhere, do something, and he stops someone from dying. And the other character in the book is a journalist. She calls herself a failed journalist because she's not happy with how her career has gone because she hasn't been willing to engage in what she calls adversarial journalism. And that's a term that I hadn't heard before, but she describes it as, or he describes it in the book, as you're not looking to get a balanced story. You already know the story you want to write, and you're going in hot, and you're going in to cause an argument, to get pushback, so that you get information on one side that will help you write the story you want to write. You're not looking for the truth. Is that a real thing? Adversarial
Welcome to
journalism?
2026.
Yeah, I guess so, eh? I don't want to believe this, but when I read it, I just felt that little frisson of truth.
Fox News, when
Yeah.
they're interviewing Democrats,
Yeah.
for sure they're going in and there's so when I do media training now in my other life, right, as a communications person, I will say, do not let them put words in your mouth. Do not repeat what they're saying, because they will take that clip. So they're looking for an argument. They're looking for your reaction.
Yeah.
And I have to say, back in the day, there used to be, after iPhones and video cameras came out, I have to say, or maybe, some shadier news programs would take a camera and, like, what was the one that they used to be at your door? And 60 Minutes used to be great. Right. But there was one that would be at your door and you would be like, oh, my God, because they were looking for a reaction. But there would be journalists that would bait, especially politicians in the last probably 2 decades. They'd bait politicians and bait them, and they would turn the camera on when the politician lost it. Right. And that's exactly, you're not trying to get the truth. You're trying to get a reaction that will get you clicks. Right.
Wow.
And I wouldn't call it journalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Entertainment, right? McLean's was mostly where I practiced journalism. I shifted more to feature writing because I also couldn't be the person to, like, it's not my personality to go into conflict, but there's a way to go into conflict. Some of the journalists I worked with would go into conflict and question presidents and prime ministers and heads of state and even like military heads, right? And they would ask questions that were really hard questions, but they were just asking if they wanted a response. They wanted the facts. They weren't trying to get into a fight with you. It wasn't, and I recently saw one, and it was the head of CBC, and I actually wrote the ombudsman, the head of CBC Political, and her name is Barton. I can't even remember, because as soon as she's on, I turn her off. But she went after Mark Carney, and he said something, and what she said was, I think Canadians would find that hard to believe, right? Turns out, in my research shows that she leans quite right? She should not be, in my opinion, she should not be the head of politics at CBC. And I wrote and said, that was her personal opinion. She does not represent me as a Canadian. Yeah. And I got this, oh, she misspoke, blah, blah, blah. But I've gone to the ombudsman several times about her because, in my opinion, she is clearly biased. And she uses that, like, she baits him. Right. And at the time when she did that, I forget what it was exactly he said, but it made me love him more because he was like, you should check yourself, Rosemary Barton, that's her name. He's really good with journalists because he doesn't take any crap from them.
So good.
But he can explain complex subject matter in a way that us average Canadians who are not, economics. Yeah. Geniuses can do, but he also doesn't take any crap from them, and I really respect that.
Yeah, me too. He is so articulate and so in control.
He's knowledgeable, and also he's human, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like he just has this ability to be so relatable, and also like, don't mess with me, right? Because I know the facts, right? Yeah. Like, he's kind of got this like genius brain, and this kind inclusive heart, right? If we're talking about care is contagious, that kind of journalism is not. I wish it wasn't contagious, and it's not care because you're not getting the real story. Yeah. Right. It's like going back to the care thing. It really does change rooms. Like, we've all been there where you're at a party and you really don't want to be there. And somebody comes in and they're like, hey, what's going on? Hey, I saw this, Hey, what about this? Come over here and meet so-and-so. And all of a sudden everything changes, right? Especially as an introvert, somebody reaching out.
Yes.
And I think you and I both do it now. And I think it's because we've had people come and care for us in the way that we felt
Yes.
awkward and out of place, right?
I spent so many years being that awkward person on the edges
Yeah.
of the wallflower,
Yeah.
on the fringes of everything. And it only, took one or two people to pull me in so that I could have one or two experiences that weren't unpleasant, weren't
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I wasn't dying to go home afterwards. And that changes everything. And then
Yeah.
suddenly I feel like I am seen. And oh, if I feel like I'm seen, then I can help. I can
Right?
show interest in someone else. I've got enough
We pay it forward.
psychic nourishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. To
Right.
do
We're
that.
able to pull somebody else. And I mean, some of that comes with wisdom and age,
Mhm.
more age than wisdom for my part. But the other part is like, Care is kind of looking over and saying, I know what that feels like, or I can
Yes.
imagine what that feels
Yes.
like, right?
Yes.
Because I don't know what it might be like to be a woman who miscarries,
Yeah.
or a woman who is being really challenged by having three kids, and they're all having a bad day. But I can imagine,
Yeah.
right, how hard, like it's like on an airplane. Now we all know I'm afraid of babies because I think I'm going to warp their psyche. Like I'm just scared of them, right?
It's true. I've seen it.
And it really is like I just don't want to make a wrong move and then it lands in this kid's brain and for the rest of their life. But I've also been on a plane where somebody sitting beside me is like, they have a toddler, maybe they have a baby in their lap, and I've said, I'm not good at it, but you want me to hold them while you eat, right? Because my goodness, I have no experience, but I can imagine just for freaking 10 minutes, man, to be able to eat her meal and
Yep.
and help her little one, help the other one on the other side eat.
Yeah. I was
Doesn't
6 months.
take
I was
much.
6 months pregnant when we moved from Ontario to BC, and I flew part of the way. I didn't fly the whole way with our oldest. I had no lap. I was 6 months pregnant, right? So I got one kid inside, one kid outside. I'm trying to eat, and then we did travel. We must have done a few trips when they were both small too. And I just remember doing that juggling. I would have been like, thank you, thank you, thank you so
Yeah.
much to anybody who understands, because there's no, like, you can do it's hard. So
Yeah.
well done to be able to see that, right?
But
To imagine that.
again, all you have to be is a little bit conscious,
Hmm.
right? And look
Yeah,
around and realize it's like helping somebody, I don't care what age they are, with their bag and put it overhead. I mean,
totally. Yeah.
it's like typically, unless they've got gold bricks in it or something, you can help somebody lift it. I mean, it's not that I'm not strong. It's just that all you can say is, here, we could do it together,
Hmm.
right? Like it doesn't,
Yeah.
but I think it kind of goes through. It goes through when you do it, other people do it. Like we've talked about this before, and it's like when I reach out, I will often reach out and say on social media, hey, it's a check-in. How are you doing? Tell me something good in your
You're
life,
really
or tell
good
me
at
what's
that.
challenging, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I do it, what happens is then there's this ripple effect and people reach out to
Mm.
others about it, right? And it's
Hmm.
the same as standing up for targeted communities.
Yeah.
Lots of people want to, but maybe they don't have the white privilege I have.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they, don't have the I grew up in downtown Toronto and I could punch you in the throat attitude I have.
Yeah.
And so, but if I do it, it lets them chime in too,
It's so
right?
true. It's so true. Seeing courage in someone else encourages the rest of us.
Right. But
And
that's, and you see it with everybody does it differently.
mhm.
So you see it, like I've been on Threads for the last day or two, and those people are amazing and blue sky, right? And they're
Yeah.
standing up to people and they just block the trolls. They don't even engage with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But they are speaking their minds and they're saying things that I might think, but I was a little hesitant to say because I didn't want to attract the trolls. And they're like, bring it on, trolls. All I'll do is block you.
I'm not there yet. Being able to do that, I think I would have a hard time with it. I mean, I'm very sensitive to criticism. I don't like that. I
Yeah.
think most of us are that way, but
Oh yeah.
and even online, I don't care if it's a real person or, a bot, but at some point you have to push past that and
Yep.
say, no, it's important to take a stand, and I've gotten better about that over time. But generally, it is because there's somebody. I actually remember one of the first times I engaged in willful conflict And it was in defense of my kids, defense
Yeah.
of my property. There was something going on, and that is not my.
Yeah.
I will step back and let a lot of things happen rather than rock the boat. That is not the best. That's not the best approach.
It's also conditioning, right?
Yeah.
It's a generational thing.
Interestingly, my sister is much better at it than I am.
Yeah.
She is very willing to say things that are difficult. My brother is too. So maybe being the oldest and you know, a girl, keeping the peace was definitely my job.
Yeah.
But I like seeing them do it, or you know, engaging with them and then thinking, ooh, we could have a cool little discussion here that's maybe a little bit of argument, but maybe it's still within the loving confines of a family relationship, you know?
Well, and to me, argument, attacks, discussion, because you don't have to agree.
Yeah.
Like, and I think growing up, I mean, because McLean's was pretty much my first job, right? Like, other than while I was in school. And it's like going there and seeing these brilliant journalists ask questions and speak truth to power. And it just because you're questioning something or you're saying, and you're really good because you will say, yeah, I see it differently. And you're really good at that, right? But the other thing is that's a level of care is critical thinking and calling people on things, right? Is a level of care. It might not feel like that to the person who you aren't aligned with, but I bet you it feels like that to a lot of people around them. And maybe if you bring them around, they'll see it, right? Because again, care isn't always easy.
Yeah. And there's something that you've taught me is that you're not necessarily saying the thing that you're saying for the benefit of the person you're saying it to.
Yeah.
You're saying it also for the audience around you, right? Especially online.
Yeah.
You know, but even in a room, and I can remember standing up a few times to a room full of men, that's a real challenge for me, where something was being said that would have potentially damaged somebody I love. Not a big deal. It was a joke. Like, where's your sense of humor? All this stuff. Wait, nope, not cool. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not going to happen. And that's a big ask for me. But also because it's somebody, it's not me. It's somebody I love.
It's easier. It's
easier.
Far easier to do that. But the flip side is it is care, because there are times when people will say things, and it's been years of learning. But when they say stuff, one of the things that a really, really good friend said to me one time is like, just lean in and say, did you actually mean what I think you mean?
Oh, I love that.
And then be quiet.
I love that.
Let them, because if they didn't, they'll say, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
But if they did, all of a sudden they're caught out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And yet you didn't say you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You're a shithead.
That's right.
Or, you know, but what you said was, am I misinterpreting that? And I've done that with work stuff, but that's just, did you mean that how I'm taking it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Did I hear what I think I heard?
Did I misunderstand you? Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. And that's a really, but the other, you know, and one of the other things is that lately I've seen, and I will check people on this, is when they say things that show unconscious bias.
Ooh.
Right. And there's stuff that comes up, and I've done it myself and caught myself, where it's like, I'll say something about, oh, I bet you'll see a really fancy car doing something stupid, right? And it's like, oh, I bet that's a tech bro or girl. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I catch myself, because everybody's got unconscious bias, but it's also like, I'm also not, you know, care is proactively positive and outreaching, but care is also like, I'm not going to let you be cruel. It's like, why would you say that?
Right.
Right. Like, and that's not if they say it to me, I'll be like, did you mean that?
Oh, we dropped you. True to form.
That's how Roxanne makes me stop talking. She just cuts everything off. Well, actually, what happened was I had turned off whatever thing that kept my laptop charged, and it's Anyway, let's just go to care helps us create stronger, braver, safer spaces.
I have a book recommendation.
Oh, good.
Slightly related to this.
Okay.
Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I'd like to hear it. And also, what a surprise you have a book recommendation.
I know. I'm trying to do one every time, and I don't remember usually. But
There's
but
a blog post, just saying. They're
Yeah.
just blogs.
well, thanks a lot for that pressure. But I talked about Cold Fire by Dean Koontz, which is
Yes.
the one I'm currently reading and love it because his books are they look at the darkness, the absolute worst of things that can be happen to humanity.
Yeah.
And then they find people in there who are willing to do whatever it takes to bring to trust in goodness again. And I love
Right.
that. But the one that I read a few weeks ago that I just loved is by an author named Abby Waxman. And there were two books that were connected. The Bookish Life of Nina Hill is one, and the other one was The Garden of Small Beginnings. And isn't that just the greatest title?
That's a beautiful title.
But The Bookish Life of Nina Hill follows a woman who works in a bookstore, and they refer to Amazon as the river. I don't know if you saw that in a recent blog post. That's
Yes.
what I referred to it as. That's where that
Okay.
comes from. Or they call it the other place. So the employees of the bookstore are very aware of the necessity of relationships, right? They have to nurture a relationship. Like, what do you like reading? What do you want to read? Oh, let me tell you about the book I just read. Because they can always go to the other place. But the cool thing about this is she was raised by a single mother. She doesn't know who the father is. She finds out father has just died. And so she's now suddenly she's inherited, but she's also got this family. And she was very happy being a solitary single woman to now have people to care for and people who care for her. There's a lot of really good themes going on in that book. So I would highly recommend The Bookish Life of Nina Hill.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Garden of Small Beginnings is related to it in that some of the same characters make an appearance in there. And there is garden stuff in there, you guys. If you love to read about gardens, which I do. So the other one was like crack for me as a book lover, and Garden of Small Beginnings was like crack for me as a garden lover. So
Oh, that's interesting.
it's a really, really fun
Very cool.
read. Yeah.
No, that's cool. But again, think about the themes, like even of nonfiction, bios, political books and stuff I read. In fact, care is everywhere because nobody's writing those books if they didn't care. They're writing about care between people. They're writing about care between strangers, right? Even with Dean Koontz, it's like he is writing about the care that comes when people are willing to fight for the good.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's just one of the things. If you start looking around at what care means, it's these little actions, because it's not the big grand actions. Like, I mean, I'm grateful for those people that have millions and millions and millions and can build schools or build hospitals or do all those things. But is the little I haven't seen my neighbor in a minute, I'm going to check in. Oh, all of a sudden I have this new family and I'm going to figure it out, right? That's a form of care. You're not walking away, right? And so when you start to recognize it, although I do like one of the notes I put was like communities built for repetition, not grand gestures. Grand gestures are freaking awesome. And if you have the money, please do it. But it is a series of gestures. And one of the things I saw that, as we've been talking about the Renee Good murder, is that one of the people out there were talking to their kids because it was all over the news, and they said, Mr. Rogers isn't somebody you know, but look for the helpers, look for the people running towards it. And what the kids said, I just burst into tears, is what they said is, but Daddy, they're killing the helpers, right? And so I think what that tells me is we all have to be helpers so we can also protect the helpers, right? Like there's if everything is dangerous enough, we have to care enough to protect the helpers that are also doing those things. And that means standing up against cruelty and all of it. But it also means the nice things like, how you used to bring me bread. Can't do it anymore, but you'll just bake just before you come to visit, right? It's like
That's the plan.
The other side of it is we're trying to build this community during what it feels like a war on everything, right? Like it's a war on equality, and it's a war on acceptance, and it's a war on all of these things that we thought we were coming to, and it's like,
and at a time when equality and women's rights were like, oh, we don't have to worry about that anymore. We've come so far. Look how far we've come. Oh, wait a second.
Look at what they're ripping away.
So
which I have to go check, but I'm hearing that at the next whatever Canadian Conservative Party what meeting that the big meetings that they have is they're talking about they're looking at abortion rights, which they said they would never do. They're looking at DEI. They're looking at a whole bunch of stuff. And you know, I think we're going to be in a bigger fight than we realize. But, you know, then there's also the whole, you know, you feel betrayed and you're exhausted and and I mean, you know, I'm not out protesting. I'm doing what I can here and donating where I can there, because you can't donate to political candidates or anything. But the other thing is like, how do you fight all the fires, right?
Yeah.
How do you keep caring? But I also think just choose decency, right? Like, because if you choose decency, somebody's going to see that and they're going to model that behavior, right?
So I'm going to bring this around right after Christmas, and I had this. Usually somebody is sick around Christmas. Again, at the Christmas gathering, you know,
you got a billion kids and your
daughters wasn't there because her kids were sick. Ray and I got vaccinated in November for COVID and the seasonal flu. And I've had COVID twice, I think, twice for sure that I know of. And I have had pneumonia at least once, and I've had a history of bronchitis. So I don't want any of that anymore. I don't want that. I lose weeks to that. It's such a pain. But more to the point, we've got 4 elderly people in our family. Amongst our kids, we've got 2 people with autoimmune disorders. I don't want to get sick.
And 4 grandkids that are young.
And 4 little grandkids, right? So there's lots of reasons why I don't want any of that stuff with me. They're going to get exposed to a ton of stuff. I am not going to be the one that gives it to them. That's how I feel about it.
That's exactly. And this goes right into care, because, you know, we're seeing in the US, Kennedy is saying, and changing vaccine schedules for kids and all of that stuff. And it's like, follow the science, talk to the doctor, do the things. Also, like, you know what, if you think you're tough enough to freaking beat COVID, fine. What about the person you give it to? What about the person they give it to?
That's 100% fine. If you don't want to be vaccinated and you don't want to wear masks, that's great. Then stay home.
And also, when you get sick, don't go to the hospital.
Don't go to the hospital.
All of the healthcare workers.
That's right, because you're putting everyone else at risk. So absolutely, you have the right to not be vaccinated if you don't want to be vaccinated, but you do not have the right to put me at risk if you choose not to get that.
Or your
my grandkids or my parents. Exactly.
But or anyone, like the random stranger down the street. And I think that's the challenge. And that goes back to, that's community care, right? Yeah,
that's
community care is also contributing when the firefighters come around.
Oh, exactly.
For the food bank. You know what? There are people that are living in their cars who don't have enough to eat, and they have 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And it's happening in Canada too.
Yeah.
Like, it might not be happening as much, or at least we don't hear about it. But the thing is, so what happens to compassion and care and these people, like, you know, these people that are not vaccinating their children, they're making choices for these kids that are not based on science.
Yeah.
Right. And so what care is that? And it kind of goes back to our last episode. It's like, I don't know. It's more than a lack of care. It's like you're being a shithead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Like, if you have a reason not to, then go do that yourself.
Right.
Don't impact anybody else.
Yeah. And the science, the problem that I have is that there's some basic science that we seem to be ignoring or turning on its head, or deciding that we don't believe in it anymore, even though it's fact. So everyone in North America was taught basic cell biology in grade 9 or 10, somewhere around there. And it was just the basic, you know, anatomy of a cell, anatomy of, you know, what do the different parts do? Nothing really basic, nothing really complicated, just really basic stuff. Most of us have forgotten it. Some of us went into healthcare fields or something related, you know, and so, like, I've always been a junkie for healthcare science stuff. Love it. And, you know, being married to a veterinarian has just kind of fed my addiction.
Yeah.
Love it. But it's also kept me a little bit in the loop for some of these things. And so, you know, I remember when vaccines for dogs, for example, or, well, actually dogs and cats, there was a lot of vaccines where the vaccine was, let's all do this. Every cat gets this, every dog gets this. And then it was, seen this vaccine, it's got side effects, or more likely, and your cat never leaves the house, why would we vaccinate it?
Yeah.
So there's some common sense involved.
The good medicine based on facts, based on science, right?
And it's all based on the idea of odds, right? So what are the odds that you're going to be exposed to this thing? What are the odds that you're going to get it? What are the odds that you're going to carry it on? What are the odds that everyone around you is going to be exposed? And when it comes to COVID, the odds are that we're all going to be exposed to it at some point or another. And the power of the virus is lessening over time, right? Because it's constantly mutating, but it's lessening over time. And that's great, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be less for everyone that contracts it, right?
But that's just it. And it's lessening over time because people are vaccinated and it's not finding a safe harbor, right?
Exactly. The number of people who are incubating it and allowing it to continue to mutate is smaller because of vaccinations.
Yeah.
So yes, we need most people to be vaccinated in order to get rid of this. That's why polio is not here anymore. That's why measles wasn't here.
Right.
Because kids were getting the MMR vaccine, right? Measles, mumps, rubella, when they were 3 months, a year old, whatever, the vaccines,
but that's
right?
Just it. But the
as soon as people stop getting vaccines, that level, that pressure, it's like mice in the wintertime, like you can block up your doorway all you want, but they're constantly trying to get in, especially in the country. And you just need to keep the resistance up there.
But and it's based on science. It's like, but now it goes back to sort of that when we first started talking about sort of the
adversarial journalism.
Yeah. Right. And it's like, but you have people out there saying things and people are buying into it for whatever freaking reason. Right. And it's like, so I've had a yellow fever vaccine because I've been to Africa. Right. Nobody ever told me to get a yellow vaccine in Canada, a yellow fever vaccine in Canada. I got it because it is prevalent there. Same as COVID. It is prevalent here. And you know what? It's one thing. I mean, I don't want to get sick because like the people I've seen sick with COVID are really sick. And these are healthy, reasonably young people, right? Like I've seen younger people get really sick. And it's like, I don't want it. But worse than that, I don't want it. Paul has asthma, right? Like there are all these compromised people. We've got older people in our family. We have little ones, right? Like, how would you ever feel if you knew you were the one that brought it into the home and somebody got it and something awful happened?
And they
just had 3 weeks of being really sick.
Well, yeah, exactly. The people who talk about the vaccine, it was rushed to market, didn't go through proper testing. That is a lie. That is a lie. It went through proper testing. It absolutely did. What didn't happen was the bureaucratic steps that are required typically to get a drug to market.
It takes time. I mean, we were a part of the lipid nanoparticle development that's a part of the community, right? The Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. And I can tell you that every single scientific thing was done to make sure it was safe and effective. What it wasn't was, you have to wait 4 months for this because we're busy over here.
Exactly. The paperwork, it didn't get stuck in the paperwork loop. And so people are saying, A, it wasn't tested properly. Wrong. It was tested properly. B, there are side effects. And
go back to it wasn't tested properly.
Yeah.
We now have billions and billions of people that are living a living database.
Exactly. Right? So that, forget it. Like maybe originally you could use that argument and there would have to be somebody smarter than me would have to refute it. But now it's like, no, sorry, that's over.
Yeah.
The second argument that we often hear is there's side effects to the vaccines. Well, of course there is. There's side effects to every drug, everything you inject in your body, everything you eat, there's side effects. The thing about immunization policy is that it's a risk-benefit ratio. So if we know that this disease, this virus, causes this illness with this level of mortality, this many people that will die from it, then is that less than or greater than the people who will be vaccinated and develop and who will die as a result of the vaccine? People don't die as a result of the vaccine. That's extreme, perhaps in an anaphylactic reaction, I guess. I don't know. I think
it could. There are certain very, very, like we're talking 0.1%. But I think there are perhaps diseases it may have exacerbated, but that the disease was going to be. But the flip side to that is you get reactions to all kinds of medicine.
Yes.
Right? Like the other side is, I mean, I've been really transparent that I take Ozempic. I get reactions to that if I have too much red wine, if I have too much creamy stuff. I have reaction. I get nauseous, right? That's a reaction.
Yep.
A lot of people are taking Ozempic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the other, but they're not fighting about that because it's not political. See, this has
That's right.
become political, right? Also,
Well,
it's new
become
science,
politicized.
except
Yeah.
new science means it's the first time on the market. They've been working on this for decades,
Mm-hmm.
right? mRNA happened to be the answer to this, and thank goodness they didn't give up on that,
Yes. Yes.
right? Because otherwise we might still be in a pandemic.
Yep. So that's the thing, like which bad is worse? Okay, so is there a risk of side effects with the vaccine? Yep. Is there a risk of side effects with the disease long? Those are way worse.
But that's just it. Or
And
death.
this we'll take this to reduce that.
Yeah, well, and for like, how many people would have died without the like, and that I think that's the challenge again for me is it goes back to care, and it's like, so I will get all my vaccines all the time to keep me healthy, but also for me the motivation is always it's always like I'm going to get it right away because I don't want to give it to somebody else.
Yeah, there are people who cannot be vaccinated.
If you're not worried about yourself, then worry about your grandma.
Yep.
Or worry about your friend's child.
Exactly. Where did you get your medical degree? Where did you get your PhD in immunology? Like, why have we stopped trusting the experts?
That's so many memes out there are just like, not everybody's opinion has the same weight.
No.
Right? It's like, so the experts know all the things, and some random guy who drinks Mountain Dew, smokes, and also drinks hard liquor is like, I'm not putting that in my body.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man.
Okay.
But that's just it. It's not the same. And also, it is the most selfish, ugly, awful thing that you can do is to not believe the facts and not vaccinate yourself or your children. You have absolutely the right. If you don't want to get vaccinated, I don't think you should have the right to not vaccinate your children because they don't have a choice.
In Canada, in British Columbia, my kids are adults now. But when my kids were school age, it was, if you want your kids to go to school in a public school, a British Columbia school, they need to be vaccinated. These are I was like, all right. And I mean, I was vaccinating my kids anyway. Now, I did vaccinate my oldest daughter when she was an infant. I delayed her vaccines. She was more likely than most to suffer seizures. So I didn't want her to get vaccinated as an infant because of the risk of fever, which is a common side effect of vaccines, and then having a fever-induced seizure start.
She was an infant, and you just delayed it, and for the most part, an infant is at home.
And completely breastfed.
Oh, wait. Also, you can't take a little puppy to doggy daycare until they're vaccinated.
You can't.
Right? So we're going to protect our puppies, who are like my kids, I have to say. But we're not going to protect our kids. Again, it kind of goes back to the why. Because they're getting this information, and the internet has made us think that we should believe everybody, and you shouldn't. That's where critical thinking comes in.
Yeah. And you absolutely should talk to your doctor. And then you absolutely, if you're not comfortable with the advice you're getting, you should absolutely question that. Go for a second opinion. Don't go for a Google search that will take you into a rabbit hole of Facebook. People. No, you go to the Mayo Clinic, or you go to the National Institute of Health, or something like that will give you credible. Although
having said that, don't go to the CDC.
Really?
Because the Trump administration has taken it over.
Right? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. So find a credible, and you know what? If you don't believe the science, learn about the science. Yeah. Because you don't get to not believe facts.
Yeah.
You don't get to disagree with facts. You might not like them. You might want to ignore them. But they're facts.
You can argue with gravity all you want, but when you jump off that building, that first big step's going to end in a splat.
But that's just it. But I think it's care doesn't stop harm, but it creates conditions where harm is challenged. And I think that's just it. What we're doing right now with vaccine is we're challenging harm, right? And I think, you can interrupt and repair harm by doing this kind of thing. And I think individual acts of care ripple through a community, and individual acts of being a shithead ripple through communities, right? Like, I think care spreads faster than cruelty when it's visible because we get the courage to stand up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think we're running into another hour again, so we're going to get better at our timing.
Are we though? Are we?
Well, maybe we will, but I think, community is not an abstract idea. It's a daily practice, and it matters because one day you're going to need the community's support. And if you don't contribute to that, who's going to be there for you? And I'm not saying it's a transactional thing,
No.
but if you're not contributing, who's going to even know you're there?
My husband and I are into this show called Alone, this reality TV show called Alone right now. And these are survivalists who are dropped off in very, very difficult areas to survive as best they can for as long as they can for a financial prize at the end of it. And inevitably, and we've watched, I think we're on season 8 now or something. Inevitably, by the time the people who are the last ones standing, they get to, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, where they've been building their own shelter, making their own fire, finding their own food, not finding food. One of the guys on this season that we're looking at, he's lost 75 pounds. Like, they're starving, right?
Right.
They always get to a place where they start talking about the loneliness of being. So even the guys who are like, hey, I killed a muskox, I can last forever. I killed a deer, I've got food, I'm going to be okay. I'm fighting off grizzly bears, I'm keeping the mountain lions at bay. All of them are talking about how they miss their families. They miss people. They're suffering from loneliness. They're so alone. It is really difficult for a social animal like humans to be without a community, without a caring system of some kind. We are essential to each other.
We are. And I like how you hesitated because you're going to say like us, and then you realize that, you and I might be a little different, but that's exactly, and maybe that might be the conversation, the topic for the next one is, how do you make friends at a later age?
Oh, that's a great.
Maybe we'll talk about that one next.
Yeah.
And be able, because you can, and when you
Clearly.
find like-minded people, well, yeah, I mean and it doesn't necessarily have to be that you are lucky enough to end up next door to each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I met 2 lovely women because I was selling some stuff on Marketplace, and now they're Facebook friends, and we're talking about getting together because we saw something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a magical kind of thing, and maybe we'll go into that because it goes to care, because you do need social interaction, you need community, right?
We absolutely do.
Yeah.
Years and years ago, I was part of some writers group, something or other, and it was we were supposed to write notes to ourselves, advice to ourselves, and things that we would tell ourselves, later on that we would read, and then,
Right.
And one of the things that I wrote to and I don't remember anything else about it, but I remember writing to myself back then, don't let yourself be alone too much because you get weird. And I do, and I know that I have always struggled with this throughout my life, is my tendency is to pull in and to pull away from people. And it always goes badly for me when I do that. So we have
And
to
now
put
when she does
ourselves-
it, I chase her, and I pester her,
She
and
does.
I nag her.
How are you
And-
doing? Are you okay? Are you okay? What's happening?
Why aren't you answering me? Why haven't you answered any of the 15 memes I've sent you today?
That's right.
But I think that's really important, because it's easy for some of us to pull back too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the same way it's easy for some to reach out too much, right? Like there's a beautiful balance in there sometimes where you can't always be on the I need you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, what if you reach out? Because I think about the people I know who are the strongest, and I'm always reaching out to them saying, how are you? Right? Because sometimes the strongest people, you don't realize they've got their stuff too, right?
Yeah.
And being able to do that, and being able to, and the lovely thing about you and I is it's always a balance of whatever's going on wherever. But there's also people, for me, that, my friend that I talked to last night, is I was like, look, like, I'm here for you. You're having a hard time, right? And she's like, and I'm here for you too. Like, even in her hardest time. And it was like, I absolutely know that. But right now I'm okay. Let's focus on you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, kind of thing. And I think it's hard for people, especially women who've had to be independent at some level of their, or some time during their life. It's hard for us to accept that sometimes.
Yeah.
So don't give up. Just do what I do with Roxanne. I just like, she's not answering me. I used to just walk next door and stand at her back door, which
What's
you can see into because it's all window.
That's right. Now it's like Facebook Messenger, texting. Then it's
Like, where are you? Where are you?
Where are you? Where are you?
The last ditch
Everything
effort was to
except a phone
her.
call.
Yeah.
Everything except a
Because
phone.
if I phoned you, you'd think somebody was dead.
Oh, I absolutely would. If you call me, somebody better be dead.
Usually I'll text and say, I'm phoning you.
Nope,
That's not what it is. Well, we don't, like, we're just not phone people.
No.
No.
I don't see any reason
Your
for a
face.
phone. No. Mm-mm.
Okay, we got to wrap up or else this is going to be another long one.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Okay, so let's remember, care is contagious, community is a practice, and every time you choose decency, you make it easier for someone else to do that.
Ooh, that's so
Right?
great. That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just about us. It's about whatever the thing we're doing is.
What's the ripple that goes out that you
The
do,
ripple
right?
effect.
And
Yeah.
and for me, it's easier to remove me from it and do it for others, right? It makes it easier. Okay, so what's your permission slip for this week, Roxanne?
I'm getting pretty good about taking time for myself these days. It's kind of something that I wonder if maybe I need to pull back on that a little bit. This is all because like I'm not letting myself freak out yet about packing. So
Yeah. Well, there you go. You still have time.
I do have time. What's your permission slip this week?
Well, when this airs, we will be having our friends Terry and Andy.
Ooh, I love Terry and Andy.
They're coming and I asked Terry what she wanted for dessert and she wanted carrot cake.
Of course.
So my permission slip is to bake because I love her and I want to bake something beautiful for her. So
Okay.
that's my permission slip.
Are you going to bake a sheet cake?
No, I'm making carrot cake.
I know, but you could make it as a sheet cake. It doesn't have to be 3 layers with all of the
Okay.
fancy stuff.
I find it therapeutic
Okay.
to do it like this. This is not, oh, I have to make a cake. This is, I'm looking forward to doing it.
Okay. That's
So-
good.
so
Your
yes.
carrot cake is amazing. It is so good.
The last one, I'm still getting used to this oven. The last one was a bit dry.
Mm,
You had it. It was a bit dry.
I had it and I loved it. And I was like, where's the rest of it? I want to eat all of it. And it was gone.
Go on, damn it.
Gone, damn it.
Okay, what are you grateful for?
Well, right now I'm grateful for my doggy because he's been keeping me company up here the whole time, and he's been a very good boy. And we've been
Yeah,
on the
been
road
very
a
good.
lot lately, and they just like there's nothing, there's not eating anything in the house, and there's no accidents in the house. They're just good dogs. So
They're
I'm very
good dogs.
grateful for that.
That's
Yeah.
a good, that's a very
What are you
good.
grateful for?
I am grateful that I have a fresh prep meal that
Oh.
I'm going to make, and it's shrimp and garlic noodles after this, because fresh prep makes it easy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Oh,
we're
that's
going,
a good one too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a good one. So I am grateful for that.
Oh, thanks for being with us today, you guys.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. Please tell us what you like about our kind of new format that we seem to weave in and out of. But also tell us what you think about random acts of care. What did you do this week? And maybe if you need a permission slip for something, it's like your permission slip is to come and tell us about the care you took this week for yourself, for others. Come and talk to us on social media. Come on YouTube and please, if you can, like us, follow us, subscribe to YouTube because it helps us build. The more we can bring more people into this, honestly, it will be a little tiny bit of making the world a better place. So what do we want more of, Rox?
We want more happy hours. They are the best. What do we want less of, Ruth?
Oh, we want so much less bullshit.
So much
So
less.
much.
Less things.
Okay, talk to you
All right.
soon.
Bye.